The Philadelphia 76ers have decided to shut down Paul George for the rest of the season, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. The reasoning for this is that he had received injections for his left adductor. I can't even say this word right. I'm going to try to pronounce it. His left adductor muscle and left knee, and I guess according to this, the injections are not working. He wasn't healing up from this injury problem he was having. According to this article, it says that he had been taking painkiller injections for 5 straight games since the All-Star break, and it wasn't working. He was still playing through a lot of pain. His left knee was bothering him throughout the season. So this is the final end product of what the Sixers got from Paul George this season, which was a season of mediocrity. If you look at the numbers he put up this year, 16.2 points per game on 43% shooting. Overall from the field, 35% from three-point range, 5.3 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 1.8 steals. These numbers would be good for a role player, I would say. If this was a role player, you would be happy with these numbers. You would be like, all right, this is not bad. But Paul George is not a role player. He's a star player, at least an all-star caliber player, a guy who's a perennial all-star. To have these numbers are terrible. This is Paul George's worst season since his third year in the league, in which he had averaged 17.4 points and put up similar shooting numbers. Ironically, he was an all-star that season during his third season with those bad numbers. Shows you how bad the East was even back then. Just had to point that out. But these are really terrible numbers. And I felt the Sixers made a bad decision when they signed him last summer. From what I recall, I remember making a video about how this is not a good signing. And it's proven to be a terrible signing. Paul George, if you look at his age right now, he is going to turn 35 in the next 2 months, so May 2nd. So he's 35, and he's in the first year of a 4-year, $212 million deal that he signed during the summertime, last summer in summer 2024. So he's getting paid $50-some million per year. And this is what you're getting. You're getting a player who's now past his prime, over the hill. That's going to be injury prone because it doesn't get better once you start getting hurt after the age of 35. It actually gets worse unless you're LeBron and you're injecting HGH, but that's another story altogether. But like I said, it doesn't get better when you start getting these injuries after 35. You got to start doing the load management. This is actually when load management is legit when you're as old as Paul George, because you got to rest up to prevent major injuries from occurring at that age. So this was a terrible investment, and now the Sixers are handicapped with this guy for at least 3 more years. They're stuck with Joel Embiid. I don't know for how long. I think for like 4 more years with that terrible extension they gave him. But it shows the Sixers are run by incompetent idiots. I know it's kind of a funny description, but these guys are incompetent. They're stupid. They're giving out money willy-nilly like it's nothing. It's like monopoly money for these guys. They're just wasting away money, and it's a terrible investment because I don't think this team going forward will be a major force in the East in upcoming years with the current core they have of Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid. 2 out of 3 of these guys are always going to be hurt, and they're not going to be available when it really matters. So this was a wasted season by the Sixers. Wasted investments in signing Paul George with that big deal, giving Joel Embiid that extension. The only silver lining out of this is if the Sixers somehow get lucky in a draft lottery and they get the number 1 pick, then they can get Cooper Flagg, who's projected to be the best player in college today. Allegedly a generational prospect, but I haven't seen much of him play. But let's say he is. I guess that would be the saving grace for the season for the Sixers. I know Sixer fans are hoping they get Cooper, and we'll see what happens. The lottery will be very interesting with all these teams that are going to be competing for this number 1 pick. But that's all I had to say about this.